I just got to this park for a photo session, and I thought I'd do a little video about this session for you today. It is with my trainers, Beth and Wayne. They are dog trainers, and we're taking some pictures for their business with their two dogs, Chobani, who looks a lot like Bailey, and Sammy, who I've never met before because Sammy is a bit of a reactive dog. Now, I believe it's mostly reactive to other dogs, so we've picked a very early morning at the back of a park, but we also have some things in place for me to make him more comfortable. So I want to go over those things with you, but they're going to be here in just a few minutes. So I'm just going to look around at some of the fall colors. They come to this park a lot, and so they have ideas where they want to be, but I also want to have some ideas. I've got my wagon and my light and my camera and my really long lens. So let's see how this goes. Monique Renee, photographer at Silver Paw Studio, and on this channel, I empower you to tell all of your tales with tales through photography and videography. My main advice before going on a session is to always ask the people the behavior of their dogs and the personality, all of the things like you'd normally ask, like is there any treats they can't have, is there any movements they can't do, but also what's their temperament? How do they react around other people, other dogs, especially if you're out here, squirrels, bunnies, water. But one of the things is reaction to other people, like me, like the photographer. So usually I have a big conversation with people, and I always say bring a long lens, but I want to find out too from Beth and Wayne what else they suggest. Okay, I am out here at the park, and we just finished the photo session with Beth and Wayne, the dog trainers, and they brought two dogs, Chobani, who looks so much like my Bailey, it's crazy, and Chobani is a therapy dog, goes to places to comfort people, and then Sammy's their other dog, but we had to have some conversations ahead of time that Sammy doesn't want to be instant friends with me, and so I thought this would be a really, really good lesson to all of you pet photographers out there from the pros of what to do before you even get on set. So you don't have to be friends with every single dog if they don't want to be friends with you. I want this to be a good time for them. At the end, I was finally able to give Sammy some treats, and we talked through the whole thing. But I want to give you the expert opinion. So I've got Beth and Wayne here from Canine Companion Consulting, and they're just going to give you a couple of tips for when you first meet a dog that the owner has told you might be a little bit reactive, or to stay back, or really just loves their people. Well, I want you to meet Beth and Wayne. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, so we've got Beth and Wayne and Sammy, and where'd Chobani go?
Chobani's right there, sniffing away.
What advice would you give other photographers that in a similar situation?
Yeah, I would definitely have this conversation before your shoot, so you know the temperaments of the dogs. When we go to a person's house to work with a dog, regardless of the issue, whether it's aggression or just
leash walking, anything.
Right, it doesn't matter. We typically let the dog come to us, and we don't approach any dog without that dog saying, yeah, come over and pet me. So we like to give dogs the choice, whether or not that dog wants to be touched and pet by a stranger or not. And Sammy, he's much better than he used to be. He used to be really afraid of everything. But he would, he's the type of dog that might come over and sniff you, but that doesn't mean that he wants to be pet by you. That means that he's interested and he's curious, but he doesn't necessarily want to be pet by strangers. And so I like to wait for the dog to give me a clear signal that that's what they want.
Even the most friendly dog in the world should still have the ability to make the choice to come over, so that it's their choice, not yours. That helps build that relationship so that they understand exactly what to expect, and they're not being frightened or otherwise imposed upon, even slightly.
Okay, so Wayne, what you're saying is even like the dogs that people don't have any concerns about, just wait till they give you a sign? Okay, but what would be a sign that the dog is ready for you to say hi?
So there's a concept that we call the 5-second rule or 3-second rule, however you want to put it. And it's essentially if a dog comes up and appears to be inviting for pets or attention, pet that dog for only about 3 seconds. And pet them in a way that's soothing. So patting on the head is not good for any dog. Even Sammy doesn't like that, and he's our dog. But under the chin is so much nicer. Down in front of the chest is better. Finding that spot and then stopping and seeing if they choose to re-engage.
Okay.
If they choose to re-engage, it's their choice. If they step away or otherwise ignore you, then that's also their choice. They're saying, I've had enough, let's move on. Because sometimes we pet dogs, and as we're petting them, they're tolerating it, and to the person, oh, you're such a good boy, but the dog, it might be saying, just get this over with, because we're holding them in place with our pets sometimes. So we just, nice little pets, and then let them choose. Oh, you're such a good boy, Sam.
I was gonna say also, I think they nudge our hands, they get in our laps, they lean against us, and they give us those clear signals that they want to be touched. And if they don't do that, typically I won't pet a strange dog. So right, so Sammy will sit on me. Right, and so
as if on cue.
Right, so that's his clear sign. When he does that to a stranger or anyone, that means you're in the Sammy Club, and that he wants to be touched by you or pet. So that's his signal. Giovanni will typically nudge my hand with, so he, see how he put my hand under him?
Placed his body under the hand.
Yeah, so that's a sign too that he would, and he's pretty aggressive about it.
Aggressive in a good way.
Yeah, like touch me, pet me now.
Let's change that word from aggressive to assertive.
Yes.
He loves his petting. Okay, wow, I'd never heard of the 3-second rule used like that. That's very helpful.
Yeah.
That's super helpful.
Pet for 3 seconds and let them choose.
And then let them choose. Wonderful. And just have that communication with the client the whole time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Those were some great tips from Beth and Wayne. The 3 to 5 second rule, if the dog approaches you, gold, and where to pet them, and then really watch their body language. I super suggest taking some dog training courses, whether online or in person, and really learning from them all about dog behavior. So the next time you have a client that calls you and says, well, I have a dog who doesn't like other dogs, if you're going to a natural area like this, not really great with other people, it takes them a while to warm up, whatever the reaction is. So these are some things that you can think about before you get to the session, So always have that conversation with people. And like Wayne was saying, even if they say they're the friendliest dog ever, this is a whole new experience for them. So there's going to be anxiety. So just keep these things in mind, and then find out when the dog comes to you for something. There was a point most of the way through the session today where they said, okay, I think that was a hawk. They said, I think Sam's cool if you give him some turkey. And so I gave him some turkey and he was fine. I didn't go up to him again though. I waited for him to come to me. So I really want you to keep in mind, it's totally possible to photograph dogs that maybe are a little reactive, or you need to give them some space. Big shout out to Beth and Wayne again. Thank you so much for your advice on the fly. It was super helpful to everyone here. If you have any questions, type them in the comments. And if I can't answer them, I'll ask Beth and Wayne. If you like this video, you'll like some of these as well. And as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs.